Hey friends, it's Steve with Real Progressives, and I am going out for a coffee right now. And in the midst of getting this coffee, I figured I'd take a moment to live stream some very, very important stuff. Some people don't like to hear about economics, and I'm just going to frickin' pound it like a frickin' jackhammer. Because what's happening is that you've got the libertarians who are austerity hounds, who are gold bugs, who don't understand economics, who are probably the least equipped to actually bring about progress. Those austerity hounds are the ones trying to merge with the younger greens. Many of the younger greens that don't understand economics, who are led around by the nose with the Rothschilds kind of crap and all the other nonsense that goes with it. What you've got is a convergence, a situation where ignorance is surrounded by more ignorance. And ignorance feeds on itself and perpetuates more ignorance. And then people like me sound like, it's overwhelming. It's fucking overwhelming. And so when I sit there and I look at these people that are coming together ignorantly thinking that they're on the same team, and they don't realize that these freaking bozos who want to cut all government spending, who talk about the debt, I'm serious, folks. This is greeners, and this is libertarians. Excuse me, I gave them too much credit. LOL libertarians. And these people are coming together of some misplaced idea that they're on the same page. Now, I won't doubt for a minute that the greeners that are thinking they're on the same page with LOL libertarians don't understand economics. I find most people don't have a clue about economics. And that's a real problem. And you don't want to talk about, I don't want to talk about half the time anymore. I'm getting to the point now where I just rather wash my hands some days. I'm not even joking. Sadly enough, I get to the point where I want to wash my hands of this whole way of doing things, because I am so tired of bumping my head into a wall. People that absolutely have a death grip on destroying our nation. And then they get all upset. They get so sad. So perpetually sad because Steve hurt their feels. But if you knew what kind of wreckage, this kind of moronic behavior, you knew how much moronic behavior was being perpetuated, and the idiocy from one joint to the other as they sit there and talk about cutting spending because they got to save money from the Rothschilds. They're going to kill us. It's that kind of stuff that's going to prevent us from ever getting anywhere, from us ever making any progress. And for me, it's like, why bump my head into a wall? People aren't going to listen. I'm going to keep doing it, folks. Trust me, I'm going to keep doing it. But the reality is that as you sit there and you watch these people do this stuff, I'm only one person. Somebody pulled me into a chat earlier. And this chat had hundreds in it. Lots and lots of people in it, probably 250 people in it. Many of these people I know. And I just looked around and there was people saying, well, in order to get the Greens more people, we need to focus on what the Greens and the Libertarians have in common. Like, the debt and the Fed and all this other, ignoramus kind of stuff. Stuff that, I'm going to use my favorite line. It's like carving turkey with a spoon kind of people, right? And I sit there and I listen to that, and all I want to do, I just want to sit there and do a Gandalf. You shall not pass. That's where I'm at with this stuff. I just really, really want to go full Hulk smash. But unfortunately, I can't do that. So I just have to debate about whether or not I want to throw up a few times, punch myself in the mouth, maybe jump off a bridge into a friggin' icy lake for a little while just to cool off. I don't know. But it's infuriating to see. It's like the drone army of idiocy. And they have a death grip on this, folks. And this right here is why not being ahead of the curve on economics is so absolutely frightening. These people that don't know shit from Shinola are teaming up. That's gotta scare the shit out of you. The dumb leading the dumber. And you want to talk about an unholy alliance? How can you love the environment? How can you love people and want single-payer health care and yet advocate cutting spending? You'd have to be the dumbest son of a bitch on the planet to say something stupid like that. And I'm not putting it past them. Maybe they really are that dumb. Maybe that's their hallmark. Maybe that's their calling card, to be that dumb. But it's one more time, when you understand the stuff and you're woke as fuck, it's one of those things where it's very difficult to just sort of let it pass. My patience is waning. People are dying. People are dying. And every time I say this stuff, I think, I'll start from ground zero again. Let's start talking about it. First and foremost, we make the money. We print the freaking money. The Federal Reserve is private within the government. Congress tells them to write checks. They had a phone call that kind of screwed my connection. So anyway, God, I hate these phone calls. But so what do you do with this? What do you do with it? I don't know. I'm really torn. I'm really torn. It seems like a lot of people that are really happy destroying the country with ignorance. And somebody's got to fight it. But it's going to take a whole lot more than one person doing it. It's going to take a whole lot more. Sorry about that. Some idiot called me right in the middle of this thing. Pisses me off, but there's not much I can do about it. In any event, so now you see this unholy alliance. What are you guys going to do about that? You don't want me to talk detailed economics. You want me to be sweeter, kinder, gentler, more sensitive, more loving, more caressing, more gentle with your feels. And yet here we are. These people are going to try and push the government to cut spending when we are barely subsisting. Our entire economy is founded on the military-industrial complex. And instead of shifting that money, they would rather cut spending. Am I making any sense? Does any of this make sense? Seriously, if it doesn't, I got to work on it, man. And I got to get a second wind, because it's like wave after wave after wave of people and the Fed. And I just don't know what to do with that. I mean, again, do you even know what the frickin' Fed does? In the Fed does. Barb, I'm so sorry you get upset. I'm so sorry, Barb. But you don't obviously want people to die over this stuff. So I guess being gentle so people die quietly is a good thing. Yeah, I'm not going there. Sorry. I'm sorry if that yelling thing bothers you. You obviously don't understand the gravity of the situation. You obviously don't understand the gravity of the situation. And that right there, it's like if you can't make everybody understand the gravity of the situation, if you can't understand how serious it is, then how in the world are you going to get ready to fight it? Why would you bother taking the time to learn about it so you could fight it if you don't even think it's a big deal? If you don't even understand? This is the stuff. When I left that group instantly when I realized it was full of people talking about blending austerity, ending the Fed, cutting spending, debt. And it's like, thank God Jill's not talking about that stuff. But guys, this is serious. These people literally are thinking that the money-producing country, the United States, has to be run like their household budget. That's the stuff they're preaching. And that's going to kill us. And I can get upset, and it'll upset poor Barb. Barb will be so upset. She'll be angry at me. She'll think I'm saying something awful to her. The reality is that the ignorance is what's killing her. She's not upset about the ignorance. She's upset at me for yelling when I see what's going on. When I see what's happening, I'm supposed to somehow or another go, everything's okay. Everything's going to be all right. Everything's not going to be all right. Therein which lies the problem. Therein which lies the problem. Everything's not going to be all right. And we have to fight this. We literally have to fight this. And yet I don't know that we have enough soldiers to fight this. Intellectual soldiers, not soldiers with guns, not soldiers with knives. You know, soldiers that can handle a little bit of rough talk from the sergeant, that don't get overly sensitized when the sergeant yells because he's worried about them killing themselves. This is no joke. It's really not. And you can put the links out there, you can explain it, you can break it down, yet they still hold on to a death grip. I've got people in my inbox right now talking to me about how our taxes fund spending, how we sell bonds to pay for government to run, all the same crap over and over. It's like, no, we don't sell bonds to make the government run. My God. It's like, tell them till they're blue in the face. And what do you do at the end of the day? Do you just go, screw it, let's go ahead and blow the world up since people are hell-bent on believing in this debt myth? Because the only thing we have to fix climate change is understanding the economy. You all don't understand the economy, you can't fix climate change. It's always coming down to money. How do you make green energy profitable? How do you explain it? How do you explain it to anyone? You've got to know this, unfortunately. I wish you didn't. I wish you could check out and just go la la la, whatever. But you can't. The other side is too aggressive. They're much angrier than me, and they're much less intelligent, but they're very, very committed to idiocy. Their commitment to being wrong surpasses our commitment to being right. And that should scare the shit out of you. Should scare you to death, every one of you. Their commitment to idiocy is greater than our commitment to truth. No joke. The myth is that strong. When they cut the spending, when they turn the spigot off, because you've elected people that will cut the spigot off. Think about it. Rigged election or not, when they cut the spigot off, and you voted for these people out of some misplaced idea that we're in debt, the catastrophe will be epic. And they will convince you that they're broke. And then what are you going to do? Folks, it's now. It's ground zero now. If you want to fix this stuff, you've got to care about the economy. And you can't save the environment by cutting spending. You can't save our families by cutting spending. You can't give us single-payer health care by cutting spending. You cannot do it. That's not how this works. It's not how it works. And my level of frustration with the dead hawks is just through the roof right now, because I'm watching them penetrate with very, very simple, basic household budget logic. They're getting into it with regular people who don't know any better. And they're willing to go along. And there's a whole lot more of them than there are of us. That should scare the shit out of you. Unless you're ready to start taking up the mantle and teaching people and learning yourself, we are going to have debt hawks penetrating even the progressive movement. And at the end of the day, those debt hawks are going to kill our movement. They're going to kill our country. They're going to kill our world. They're going to destroy it. And we have got to be smart enough to be able to take that on and help educate them. And if my barking at you bothers you, folks, then find a new way and do it yourself, damn it. My agitation comes from ignorance and a willful death grip you have on being ignorant and remaining so. If you want to wake up and pick up the mantle and do it yourself and start teaching people proper economics, I won't stand in your way 1 minute. I will applaud you. I will congratulate you. I will give you special warm hugs and kisses. I will stroke you like a pet. I'll do whatever you want me to do to give you a case of the feels. But sitting there complaining because I'm upset knowing what I know, that dog's not going to hunt, folks. It's not going to get any truck with me. I need you guys paying attention. My goodness. When I saw Green Party people saying we can bond with the libertarians because of the debt and because of the Fed, I knew I had entered into the twilight zone. The twilight zone, folks. Debt and deficits. Deficits. What's a deficit, real quick? Let's talk about that for 2 seconds. A deficit is the difference between the amount taxed and the amount spent. If you're always doing exactly 1 for 1, the economy never grows. We're a net exporter? No. We're a net importer. So what happens to our dollars? They leave the country. So if we cut spending and we're a net importer, what happens to our economy? Does it shrink or does it grow? Oh, that's right. It shrinks like a mother. And then what happens to us? Unemployment? Yeah, we get unemployed. We have another crash. So would you say debt people are good people or bad people? I just say they're dumb people. They're not bad people. They're just ignorant. And their ignorance is lethal. If it wasn't lethal, if it was just an opinion or, you say tomato, I say tomato, it wouldn't be no big deal. But if you're actually fighting for a revolution, that revolution is supposed to be about some things, right? What is your revolution about? I thought our collective was about single-payer health care, the environment, equality, ending wars, green energy, none of which happen if the federal government doesn't offset the losses and try to find a way to make it beneficial to society other than just the fear of climate change. If we don't find a way to sell this to the regular people, it's never going to work out, folks. This revolution is dead on arrival. I wish I was wrong. It really is going to take people understanding what they're fighting about, even if it bores them. Maybe the fear of ignorance will propel people to understand that if they don't get up off this and they don't go out and learn this, that the dead hawks will destroy our nation. The dead hawks are no different than Paul Ryan. They're no different than Rand Paul. They're no different than any typical GOP person. And yet they're sitting there infiltrating the Green Party with the LOL Libertarians? What, because they smoke some weed together? Folks, I'm telling you, this is ground zero. You can get mad at my yelling all you want, but I'll get mad at you for killing my nation. Yeah, that's right. So, don't let me and my style bring about the end of the world because you can't get past your feels. I'm pissed, and I can tell you why. Can you? Do you know why? Do you know why you're pissed? Do you know what you're fighting for? Do you know how to get where you're trying to get to? I do. And I'm watching these people, the blind leading the blind, and it is terrifying. Absolutely terrifying. And they are so sure of themselves and their ignorance. That is what's truly frightening. They can't ever figure out the fact. I mean, there was some guy telling me that he was in college, and the college was talking about financing the government with bonds. And I was like, yeah, back in the day when we were on the gold standard and we needed to do different things because we had a finite pool of natural resources backing our currency and so on and so forth. Sure, maybe it had some validity. Quantity of theory money is dead. The amount of money in the thing, oh my God, hyperinflation, all that stuff, dead. They even have the idiocy to bring up Greece. How many of you all heard of people saying, what, do you want us to be like Greece? Is Greece monetarily sovereign? Nope. Greece gave up their sovereignty to the ECB and the EU. You don't know what that is, but yet you felt compelled to talk about Greece, huh? Interesting. You didn't know about that, but you felt compelled to say the U.S. will become like Greece. Interesting. The whole thing with Zimbabwe and Weimar Republic. Pegging your currency is a really bad thing, folks. Anyway, if you guys don't wake up on this stuff, these people are going to bond together, and it'll be too late for you to break them apart and to keep people understanding that in order for us to solve these major issues, we have to learn the economics behind them to fund them. Dead hawks are going to kill this nation without a loyal and fervent, knowledgeable opposition to educate the public, to prevent them from using their basic household knowledge. Well, you know, I don't have enough to pay my bills, so I got to write me a check. And if a check bounces, I don't get me a refrigerator. We got to have enough smarts in our head to be able to debunk that crap, or we are all going down, down, down. And I wish I could say it sweetly so you would understand the urgency in a very, very sweet, sensitive, stroking voice that kept all your feels and sensibilities all in check. But then it wouldn't be very doomsday-ish, would it? You wouldn't quite get the feel of what I'm trying to give you the feels of. And the feels of this. We're in danger. The wrong people are talking. And because they don't have an alternative, they're trying to find a way to build a voting block. And that voting block is why I did my piece on Gary Johnson, explain why he is no progressive. And that hurt some feels, made some feels go around. And you know what? I don't care. I care about truth. And if you care about truth, that's why you follow me. If you don't care about truth and you care about your feels, there's a million other people out there who'll stroke you, make you feel like a king or a queen. They'll say, hey guys, just a lot of hard work and you're all right, fella. You just keep up the good work there, pal Rooney. You know, I've never sold myself to be that guy. That's never who I've sold myself to be. And it's never who I'm going to be. And the day I become that will be the day that I start focusing on football again. The day I start watching hockey every night again. And the day I stop caring whether this country lives or dies and go back into my shell and not care about economics again. But until that time, I'm still going to be that terror that you still seek. The one that tells you how it is. Because I know. And sometimes I wish I didn't. Sometimes I get angry at the people that taught me. Because once you know, you can't go back into the dark. Anyway, this is Steve. Talk to you guys later.